Christy and I had our first son, Peyton, August of 2001, and in September of 2001, of course, was 9/11. And we were just, I was holding our young son and very concerned about the future of our country, and decided that we wanted to get involved and know who our elected officials were and how we could make a difference and how we could help. So we started to attend Republican meetings and found out that there was no Young Republican organization in LaGrange County, and we offered to help start a Young Republican organization, and from there it led to being more involved in the Republican county organization, and of course then statewide, state party, and eventually into elected office. So we just firmly believe that young people should be active and engaged in our political process, because it affects our future, and it affects our families. So it's a good way to not only enjoy being around other Republicans, but to really make a difference. Well, first of all, show up. Show up at events. Be at at a breakfast club meeting, or if there's a campaign that's putting signs out or making phone calls, just show up. And there's never been folks turned away that I know of that when people make it there, there's always work to do, and there's always more work to do, and we never have enough help. And I think that finding out when those events are, going to websites, being on Facebook pages, knowing what's going on is a good way to get started, and then to, of course, plug yourself in, because it really is. It's important to know where the party's at, as well as knowing obviously what government's doing. But a good way to know what government's doing is to be involved in the party. And so I would encourage anybody to find a person, keep in touch with them, to know what's going on, so that way you can make it to events, and you will be well utilized. We live in the greatest country in the world. The United States is unlike any other, and that didn't just happen by chance. It didn't happen by accident. And we have a two-party political process. Republicans and Democrats debate issues, obviously elect candidates to elected office to decide policy. That policy ultimately affects each of us as Americans one way or the other, whether it's the roads that you drive on, whether it's the education that we receive, whether it's the jobs that are being created. So many things affect us and our family every day, and so that's a reason for us to be active and engaged and involved, and of course to be a part of those big policy discussions about protecting life, about how our families can be successful economically, spiritually. All of those are so important because they affect us every day, whether we know it or not. Being young is just a good reason to be active and involved in the Young Republican Party. We have a great party, and a party that's built on ideals and principles, but it's also built on people, and it's built around people that care. And so being a Young Republican, I can share what, we've seen a lot of changes in the country, not just policy-wise, but also through technology, through our education system, through the innovativeness of other young people around the country. And as a Young Republican, being in touch with younger Americans is a good way to explain to those who may not understand the changes in culture, in the younger culture, as adequately as maybe they should. So sharing and having influence and making an impact just through those conversations and those relationships. Relationships are so key to making an impact and having a difference. And having relationships with other young Americans and young Republicans helps me as a member of Congress who's young to be able to communicate to other members who may not always hear those things that we talk about every day.